Hey there, welcome back to the channel, everyone. Davey Deathray here. I swear I know how to run StreamYard and do YouTube. I swear, I promise. For whatever reason, I think I just got caught in the intro. I just got lost in that intro. Welcome to Late Night with the Davey, everyone. Thank you so much for jumping on in and hanging out here. Really quick, I've been really bad at doing this lately, so I'm going to do it right now just to get it out of the way. Guys, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a damn thing. All that good stuff. Thank you so much to everybody, past, present, and future, that is checking out the stream. And big shout out, I'm just going to say it, shout out to the Patreon members, the YouTube channel members, and our amazing group of Death Squad mods. So, guys, I'm very excited. Well, I'm excited and maybe a little exhausted as well. I'm sure, you know, you guys are here, you see the Scream thumbnail, you're like, sweet, another stream about Scream, or you're like, oh God, another stream about Scream. And I get it. There's a lot of us out there talking about it, but I didn't get involved in YouTube so I could not comment on franchises that I care about. This is a franchise that I've been watching since 1996. Maybe it was early 97 because the movie came out late 96. I did not see it in the theater, but I saw it whenever it came out on VHS. So maybe it was like spring or summer, something like that, of 97. So I love this franchise. I gotta talk about it. I see other people talking about it. I see you know, a lot of streams about this, but we're gonna have a little bit of a structure. We're gonna go about it the Davey Deathray way. However, I do want you guys to know in the chat, really, whatever way you guys push this thing and direct this thing, I'll just go with the flow. So I've got some talking points brought up and everything like that that we can hit on. But really, if you guys start taking off with your own stuff, I'm just going to kind of play MC and we'll have that conversation together. It'll be great. Guys, if you listen really carefully, you might be able to hear some jets because I live relatively close to Luke Air Force Base and sometimes they run night missions. Anyways, I'm going to say what's up to everybody, and then we're going to have a chat about Scream. I mean, really, you know, I've got the Scream 7 thing just right about there. So obviously with Scream 7 coming out, that's the reason why we're, you know, talking about the franchise, but really we're going to do a check-in on the whole damn franchise. So I wanted to do something a little bit different. There's a lot of the speculative talk. I've done that on the channel. I've done my own wish list video. Not saying that this isn't something that I haven't done, but I'm trying at this stage of the game, I'm trying to pull away from that, leave some space for people to still talk about that stuff. But since I've already covered it, I kind of want to just take a look at the landscape of the franchise. You know, strengths, weaknesses, you know, what we think. There's been talk about not much meta commentary, but maybe some more blood in this one. So we'll talk about that with the newer movie, but we'll kind of take a look back at everything. And we'll talk about what you guys want to see in the 7th movie and all that kind of good stuff. So before I really like dive in or whatever, of course, I'm going to say what's up to you guys. I do want you to know there is a poll in the chat. You can tell me, you know, kind of taking your temperature on Scream 7. Not the first time I've done that, but it's been maybe a month, maybe only 2 or 3 weeks. And then of course I do have a super chat goal. So if you guys want to keep this thing going, we'll go for about, you know, usually once I start talking, it's tough to stop. So usually it's probably about an hour and a half or so. If you guys want to go, you want to extend that time, we're having a lot of fun. We're talking about Scream. You guys are getting your thoughts out there, you know, joining the conversation and everything, and you want to keep that rolling, then we can do that with 10 super chats of $2 or more, but not a requirement. Super chats are just fun. What is required though is that you are nice to everybody in the chat. That's required. Hit the like button. It's free. It's easy. Subscribe. If you hate the channel, you can always bail. Guys, we are just over 2,700 YouTube subscribers. We are getting so damn close already to that 3,000 mark, which is very impressive to me because we didn't cross 2,000 until November, and here we are already, you know, less than 300 away from 3,000, and that's because of you guys hitting the like button, hitting the hype button after the fact, sharing the channel, commenting on the videos, all that stuff. More power to you guys. Thank you so much for being such a big part of the channel's success. I mean, You know, I can take care of the video and live stream side of it and all that kind of stuff. You guys take care of actually showing up and building the community, really. So thank you so very much. Whether you're a Patreon member, YouTube channel member, or you're a subscriber that shows up loyally for every single one of these streams, you rock my socks. And I'm going to say what's up to everybody, and then we'll get on with the chat. I hope you guys are having a great week. I hope the anticipation of Scream 7 isn't making this week feel dull or feel like you just want to push fast forward on the damn thing. We should enjoy every moment of our lives, right? So, so yeah, let me know your thoughts on Scream 7, and we'll get cooking here. We've got Antonis Andriotis, one of our great channel members, jumping on in. What's happening, Antonis? Not much is up. Just you know, I purchased a new to me vehicle today. Should be getting it within the next couple days and hanging out with you guys. And you know what? I will say this before I dive in and talk to everybody or say hi to everybody. Let me know in the chat, guys. I am toying with the notion of going back to live stream news. And the reason why is because the other week we had a whole bunch of news stories drop. And I was like, oh my God, it's so much. It's so overwhelming. I didn't want to make individual videos for each one because just editing and putting them out, it just takes so long just going through the process. And I'm like, man, maybe I should go back to live stream. So let me know what you think. I would still cut up the videos and put them out individually. So if you only care about one franchise, you would really only have to catch those videos for that franchise or for those franchises that you care about. And then, yeah, for the folks that liked it live, you know, we can get back into that groove. It's kind of fun to let you guys immediately tell me, you know, those of you who are hanging out live, immediately tell me what you think of these news stories. It's kind of fun to bounce off of you guys. And I'm thinking of calling it like Night Owl News or something like that. I don't know. I would do it very late at night. It would be fun. It would be totally fun. It would be a different kind of crowd. And I don't know. Let me know if that's something you guys would be into. If not, I'll just shut my yapper and stop mulling it over. We got Raggedy Man hanging out as well, another one of our great channel members. How you doing, Raggedy? We've got Arthur Morgan. Where is John Marston? I had to look that up. Apparently, John Marston is the protagonist from Red Dead Redemption. Yeah. I mean, I've played that game a little bit, but I've never owned a copy or anything like that. We got Linda hanging out, one of our great channel members. How you doing, Linda? So good to see ya. We got Sean G in the house as well, another one of our great channel members. Week is going well, Sean. I hope you are doing well. Also, I saw you're catching up on some of my older streams. Guys, I've totally fallen behind on responding to comments. Just I'll catch up with them tonight, though. I promise you on that. Yeah, week is going well, Sean. Thank you so much for catching some of the older stuff. And I'll reply to your comment a little bit later on. And then there's some dickhole Davey Deathray. Don't even know who that guy is. I'm ready, Davey. Oh, from Dutchie's gang. Okay. And I don't know, is that something from Red Dead Redemption as well? I'm not sure. You might have to fill me in on that one, Arthur. We got Tia Nina, one of our great channel members, kicking it. What's happening, Tia? We got Shoddy jumping in. What's happening, Shoddy? Thanks for hanging out. Look at that. Coy has been a member for 15 months. How about it? I think, Coy, you might have been our very first channel member. You might have. I know it was like you and Jamie and Gina were like right there at the beginning. I think you guys might have been the first few. Big Rod was there as well right at the beginning. You guys are all there like on that first title card or, the title card for the membership thank yous. We got Brett from Good Real Hunting jumping on in, one of our great channel members, and Death Squad Mods says, hey everyone, Real Horror Awards tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Guys, I see that Brett put the link in there. Sweet. What I'm going to do, Brett, I'm going to hop on over to the YouTube side. I am going to pin that link in the chat because I don't have anything to put in to pin right now. So maybe that'll change. Maybe it won't. But there you go, guys. Real Horror Awards link is pinned in the chat. So make sure you have your notifications set. You do not want to miss that awards show. Not only are the guys over at Good Real Hunting incredibly charming and have really fun, engaging content all the time, but they're going to bring that level of, ethics and workmanship to their live horror awards show tomorrow, but also the work that they put in behind the scenes. arranging for all, like putting together all these categories, all the nominees, reaching out to all the content creators, getting everything squared away, editing everything, all that stuff. I can only imagine how massive of an ordeal it must be. So make sure you have the notification set. Even if you can't hang out the whole time, jump in, like the stream, say what's up, hang out as long as you can, all that fun stuff. You may see this guy, although I had a beard. So if you miss bearded Davey, that's a way to get a little bit of bearded Davey. But I won't tell you what I'm doing, how I'm involved. But you might hear or see me a couple times. It'll be a blast, people. Come on, hang out. We got Jamie Hart kicking in with us, our original Death Squad mod, our mama mod, and one of our great channel members. What's happening, Jamie? Hope you're doing well. We got Jay Beach kicking it. Time has flown by, Jay. It's been a little bit, man. Welcome on back. I saw you say what's up in the Discord as well. Glad to have you kicking it with us again. It seems like maybe some dust has settled in, professional life and everything like that. Hey, man, that kind of stuff happens. I mean, we'll be here. So take all the time you need. You can catch up on anything you missed, like Sean is catching up. And yeah, glad to have you back, man. We got David hanging out. What's happening? David with his elephant picture that I always think looks like a face hugger from Alien when it's the tiny, tiny little icon. Tia has been a member for 3 months. Hell yeah. Thank you so much, Tia. We got Montrese. What's happening, Montrese? Great to see ya. Let's see here. We got Adrian James. What's happening, Adrian? Great to see ya. King Matthew, how you doing, sir? Hope the post-birthday portion of February is a good one for you. It can be that way, can't it? We got Papa John hanging out as well, another one of our great channel members. How are you doing, Papa John? Thank you so much for kicking it with us. We got Ryan Underwood, a.k.a. Pistofferson, which is an amazing screen name. Nothing much is up, man. Or what's good, Brother Deathray? Well, happy to be hanging out with all of you beautiful people. If I could talk, that would be great. Sending all the love over to you as well, Ryan. Hope you're doing well, man. Let's see here. We got T. Parker Evans kicking it with us. I've been waiting for Scream 7 for 15 years. The true sequel to Scream 4. Yeah, I agree. It's going to be this interesting little side quest. Of course, Chad and Mindy are being carried over from 5 and 6. But in a way, 6 almost feels like a Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, but not only in setup because we don't have our final girl Sidney there. Not in quality. Halloween 3 Season of the Witch is a way better movie than Scream 6 could ever hope to be, quite frankly. But yeah, I agree with you, T. I don't think I don't think Scream 5 and 6 are terrible. I like some of the performances that we get, for sure. I think the performances are probably the best part of those two movies, or the best parts of those two movies. So, yeah, it's a long time to wait. I mean, even since Scream 6, so they did Scream 5 and 6, and that was like 2 movies within like a little over a year, right? It was like February or January and March of the subsequent year when those movies came out. And then here we are, 3-year break, and Nev is coming back. It kind of feels like an event, doesn't it? Even though she only missed 1 movie, it almost feels like, because she's an afterthought in Scream 5. And you could say that in Scream 4. You could say that in Scream 2. You could say that about Scream 3. You could pretty much say it about every Scream movie she's in that's not the first one. That she's, relatively speaking, an afterthought. We spend a lot of time away from her, so to speak. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. We got Mosier movie reviews. What's happening? What's happening, Mosier? Hope you're doing well, man. You look familiar. Do I know you? I was also feeling like this is a sequel to Scream 4. I think so too, yeah. We got Nathan Mills kicking it with us. Oh, I love your icon, the Alice, Sweet Alice icon. That is awesome, Nathan. Great job. Nothing much, man. Just, yeah. I I know I'm still saying hi to everyone and I'm taking forever. For those of you that are new or relatively new, I am relatively long-winded. How about it? So if I see anything else about Scream franchise that I think is a nice little tidbit, I'll probably just star it and then come back to it. So I'm going to rattle through saying what's up to the rest of the folks that I haven't said hi to yet. So how about that? Live Davey rocks. I dig the lives. Okay, whatever I do, you got my back. There you go. I love it live. I want to hear it live. There you go. Fuck it. We'll do it live. It'll be the return of the live news. How about that? I love talking the news with everyone. I'm totally down for more news live streams. Hell yeah. And even guys, I might do them in the middle of the night. So I might do like a true, like it might be midnight on the East Coast or something like that. So I'm not saying they'll always be that way. But that way I can shoot everything, have a little bit of a discussion, and I can still edit and get those other videos out, stuff like that. Dang, 18 months. Eli, and you were the first. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it probably tells me if I just go to the bottom of my YouTube members list. I think it probably just tells me down there. Josh McKenna jumping in with a 999er says, have you seen the movie Scream from 1981? It has nothing to do with Scream, and it's apparently really terrible. I have not seen that Scream movie from 1981. I haven't. No, is it a traditional slasher? Is it like kind of like slasher craze? You know, because that's when the slasher craze was really kicking off. Like I can't tell by the title. You can't even tell. You know, it's just such a, you know, innocuous, not an innocuous kind of word, but it's just one of those like, what does it mean? You know, until you see the movie, you don't really know. Let's see here. What else do we got going on? Oh, that's Chase Mosier. Dude, Chase, I've seen your name all over the place. Is Facebook trying to get me to friend request you even though we've never talked? It's so funny that Facebook will do that because I've made friends with some people from YouTube. And I'm like, well, I see that person in the chat. I don't want to like just friend request them out of nowhere. Too funny. Okay, let me just make sure I'm saying hi to everybody. What's up, Billy Judd? Hope you're doing well. Is Davey going to be Ghostface for the Real Horror Awards? I'm not going to say. I won't say what I'm doing for. I don't want to say yes or no to anything to you. That way, it's just totally, you know, just a complete surprise for you guys. Let's see here. Where do we go? Shoddy. Okay, yeah, I see you're asking about Gotham Noir, dude. That is a whole thing. So something I'm not going to discuss here. Well, certainly not on this live stream, because for some of it, I would be speaking like hearsay. What's happening, Brian Boucher? New to the channel, love the Scream franchise. Hell yeah, Brian. Well, what do you want to see? Not even just talking about like, sure, what do you want to see from Scream 7? Obviously, let me know all your thoughts, guys. But just as far as a state of the franchise kind of discussion, I'm curious to know how we're feeling about Scream just overall. Let's see here. It's rough, but I got to be at the gym at 4, so I got to be up with enough time to eat and let my food digest. At the gym at 4. So you have to get up by like, you have to be like eating, you've done eating by 3 in the morning, something like that. Dang, 2:30. Yeah, that's wild. That's wild, Ryan. Well, you know, you don't get a rockin' bod like yours without, you know, making some sacrifices, right? I'm usually still up at 2:30, especially 2:30 Central Time. Definitely up. Okay, let me see what we got here because I have some talking points. Okay, where we stand right now with the Scream franchise. So, really, here, I'll just, this will be more of like a telling you guys, and then we'll jump in with more discussion. State of the franchise, where we stand right now, is a little fractured, honestly. There's not a civil war within the Scream fandom, but there's definitely a schism, right? And, you know, like any other movie franchise that goes on for decades and decades, there's, you know, different generations of fans and everything. So, you know, with Scream 5 coming out, we saw sort of like this great little bit of unity, you know, like all the fans that loved the original Scream movies were like, cool, Scream is back, and it looks like they're kind of, you know, passing it off to the next generation or whatever. And say what you want about the movie, like, I don't think the movie is exceptional. I don't think it's a great Scream movie. I don't think it's a bad movie, though, either. And it brought in, like, it ushered in this brand new group of fans, you know? Scream 6 comes out. I thought it was a step down in every single way. And it started to feel like Radio Silence didn't have a plan, didn't know what the hell they were doing. It was like we were getting a little bit of that Star Wars sequel kind of treatment where it's like, it seemed like you knew what you were doing, and it seemed like you grasped these concepts, but you clearly don't. And you're trying to work in somebody else's playground and do your own thing, and that is a very dicey endeavor. Now, I think with a lot of traditional Scream fans, we sort of looked at those two movies, and I think a lot of us feel the same. A lot of us are like, you know, those movies, they're fine. Like, I'm not going to be offended by them. They're good for what they are. They're not great, but they're entertaining, you know. And maybe you would say, I guess they're better than Scream 3, although I think Scream 3 is better than Scream 5 and 6. So you've got that group of the hardcore fans that felt that way about 5 and 6, and then you've got the fans that got ushered in and brought in for 5 and 6 that are like, oh my God, maybe they're discovering the franchise for the very first time, or maybe they saw the other movies or a couple other movies or knew what the franchise was, but didn't fall in love until they saw something that spoke a little bit more to their, you know, I'll just say to their generation, right? And a big contingent of those fans are not very happy right now as we sit February 2026. I think it was about a year ago when then, you know, everything kind of came out, maybe a little bit over a year ago. You know, Spyglass decided not to bring Melissa Barrera back after her 2-film contract was up. People still call that a firing. People still just don't even care about the meaning of words or, you know, the legalities of anything. And morality and legality are two different things. And, you know, you can disagree with what Spyglass did, and it can still not technically be a firing. You want to call it a soft firing, whatever you want to call it. There wasn't dry ink on the paper that got torn up and thrown out. You know, like her job was done, and her character arc was done as well. So, you know, even though it would have been cool to see her maybe come back in some capacity, I'm totally fine with Scream 7 moving on. We got Chad and Mindy hanging out. That's good enough for me. Yeah, I guess that's good enough for me. But maybe you guys feel differently about that. And yeah, here we are. Kevin Williamson has been brought back in. Radio Silence left. Christopher Landon signed on to do Scream 7. He left. I don't know if it's because of everything that went on with Melissa Barrera. You know, someday we'll get the full story. People have kind of like, you know, hinted about that kind of stuff when they've made social media posts or talked about it in public, but I don't think we've ever gotten like a true definitive word on Christopher Landon. I just remember him saying like, it sucks that it didn't work out with him and the rest of the group there. So, and he's got a pretty good pedigree as far as like, he's written a lot of movies and done a lot of stuff. I'm not the hugest fan of everything that he's done. Like, I think he's okay. But I do think bringing back in Kevin Williamson, once that all kind of went, you know, by the wayside, that was the key. Bringing in Kevin was amazing because it was a key that unlocked a couple doors. Bringing in Kevin Williamson, it's going to unlock multiple doors. I'll just say that because I'll just keep on. I'm going to use that. I'm going to ride that metaphor. So Kevin Williamson coming back to the franchise unlocks the door of, boom, not just legacy actors and characters. Now you've got the creator. So you've got legacy behind the camera brains and the guy that this is his baby coming back. So you're unlocking that. You're unlocking bringing Neve Campbell back. I know that she had, you know, technically I think she had got brought on the project before they announced that Kevin Williamson was being brought in. I have no doubt in my mind that when stuff went, you know, belly up with Christopher Landon and all that stuff behind the scenes, that Neve was probably like, look, I'll come back, treat me right on the money side, because we didn't agree with that on part 6, and that's why I didn't come back. So treat me right on the money side and bring back Kevin, because they've been she talked in interviews. I've heard her speak, you know, years ago in interviews, how her and Kevin were talking, even on the first, I think it was the first movie, talking about how cool it would be if Kevin could direct one of these movies someday. So here we are. And yeah, the guy's resume is relatively light, okay? As far as being a director goes, he hasn't directed a movie since Teaching Mrs. Tingle, and I think that was about 26 years ago. However, everything we're seeing from the trailer is very encouraging. So I think we have a Scream movie that, like T. Parker had just said a few minutes ago, it's a Scream movie that's picking up, you know, kind of like a direct sequel of 4, although we do have some core 4 members, you know, in this entry as well. But it's going to kind of feel like a little bit of an in-between. It's going to be a sequel to 4, but it's also going to follow up 5 and 6, you know. But I do feel like thematically it's going to feel more like the first 4 films, you know, just in the way it's set up. So there's my whole like opening soliloquy. No, I didn't plan any of that out. I just like to, you know, roll with the punches here on the lives. And that's pretty much where we stand right now, which kind of leads me to, this is where I want to like open stuff up for you, all of you guys out there, the state of the franchise, you know, the strengths, the weaknesses, maybe some opportunities, things you think they could do different or do better. Yeah, even if you're talking about something that you're an opportunity for them to do something in this new film, you know, and really we can talk about whatever here. No one, you know, if you've seen Scream 7, congratulations, you're a very, you know, a member of a very lucky few group of people. But don't spoil anything. But we can kind of just blah, 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 because we're all just spitballing here. So I want to hear from you guys. Of course, you know, you've heard all what I have to say about the strengths and the weaknesses and everything like that. But I want to know from you guys what you think are the best and worst parts of the franchise, and, you know, opportunities for them to maybe remedy some of that in Scream 7. So I'm going to jump in and see what's up with all y'all. I know I need to catch up here. Let's see here. Night Owl anyways. There you go, Tia. Night Owl news. Oh, yeah. Or something like that. Let's see. What else do we got going on here? You know what? This is one thing I really couldn't care less about is the soundtrack. And I'm not a big Ice Nine Kills guy. I'll say this. More power to them. Nothing I could ever say, my opinion, could never take away any of their success or the fact that they are, you know, wildly popular. I'm not really into the gimmick kind of stuff, like super gimmicky. I know like metal is a gimmick in and of itself, pretty much. I don't even know if I'd consider Ice Nine Kills metal, although I guess that's the aesthetic they're going for. However, it seems very accessible and very digestible. And once you make music that's like accessible and digestible and you're all over the place and like, you know, normies know who you are, it's kind of tough to say that you're like truly punk or truly metal at that point. So I just consider them like a proggy pop group. I will say that about Ice Nine Kills. So yeah, not really into it. But hey, if it's good for them and it's good for Scream 7, I'm all for it. Like all that kind of stuff. Like I'm not a big Creed fan, but Creed was in the soundtrack for what was it, 3? Yeah, Collective Soul closes out too. They're pretty cheesy too. Okay, anyways, I'm already like way far behind here. Scream 6 is my last Jedi, disrespecting the legacy characters in favor for set pieces and gimmicks throughout. Ooh, yeah, it's almost like Radio Silence just wanted to make their own movie, but didn't. We got Shane C jumping on in. Hey there, Shane. You know, I think, well, so I've seen each movie 3 times, 5 and 6. I've seen the other movies countless times. 5 and 6, I've seen them each 3 times. I think she's better in 6. The writing is very cringy. I think the writing in both of those movies, I'm so happy I forgot to do another unlocking the key, or the key that unlocks the door. Kevin Williamson, not only unlocking it for him as a director, but him coming in and doing a rewrite. You know, I'd imagine there's still a healthy amount of the Guy Busick story that's in there. But, you know, Screen Actors Guild, some of you may know this, some of you may not. So I don't work in the industry or anything. There's just certain things I've picked up on. And I know that you have to have a certain percentage before like the writers, the Screen Actors Guild or the Writers Guild. I think so in this instance, the Writers Guild, before they will give you a credit that says, you know, written by Guy Busick and Kevin Williamson. They don't just do that because you submit a piece of paper that's like, hey, we want to give Kevin writing credit. Like you have to show that he's made a significant, you know, change in the script. So, so I think that's a huge benefit going forward. And I think that's one of the reasons why, you know, you're saying Melissa Barrera seemed just as wooden. Like, I do think she was better. I think the best I've ever seen her is Abigail, honestly. So I just think she's gotten better as a performer. But I think the scripts are really bad for Scream 5 and 6. Maybe that's one of the reasons why. I don't know. Did you think she was wooden in Abigail? I'm curious. Because I don't love Abigail, but I think she's really good in it. Okay. Let's see what else we got going on here. T. Parker says, continuing on his Scream 6 rant, sidelined and regressed Gale, she had no arc, left unconscious, and revealed to be alive via dialogue by some rando. Kirby was dumbed down and was a last-minute red herring. Because Brett was asking you what was up. Yeah, I mean, and I think Gale, I know you'd feel differently, T. I think Gale has just been on a, you know, she just reverts and then gets better and reverts and she goes back to being selfish and then realizes she wants to help. And we've just seen her on repeat for fucking 5 movies now. I'm ready for her to just be done. Like I put together a video. No one watched it. Thank you so much if you did. But it was 5 things that I want to see in Scream 7. And one of them was, I want to see Gale gone. Like I need Sidney completely isolated, separated. Gale was the last thing from Woodsboro that she had, like the last connection with anything good from Woodsboro. And, you know, I need to see her separated from that. We've never seen Sidney at a crushingly low moment, guys. Think about that. I want you to really think about that and think about other final girls in other franchises. Think about final girls that maybe were only in 1 movie or 2 movies max. And I'm not saying that they're better than Sidney. That's not the argument that I'm trying to make. I'm just trying to say, I'm kind of over Sidney sort of being handled with baby gloves. Like mean things are said to Sidney on the phone, but I want to feel like she is like completely crushed. And I don't want her to do the typical alcoholic, you know, I don't want her to do that kind of crushed. I don't want to see, you know, the Laurie Strode thing that we basically got with Dewey in Scream 5, you know, like I don't want to see a replay of that or anything. I think that's kind of trite and pretty cliched. But I want to see her so low that she basically wants to give up and just wants it to end. She just wants it to be over for her, at least, you know, like that would be a really interesting thing to see. And for that to take place, as far as I'm concerned, Gale's got to go. Yeah, you absolutely can. Yeah. Cause what he wrote 1, 2, and 4. Is that right? Did he write 4? Like I keep on saying that like it's true, and then every time I say it and I'm like, well, no one tells me I'm wrong, but am I wrong? I thought he came back to write 4. Okay, he did. Sweet. Okay, so he stepped away. I think he gets story credit for Scream 3, but you know, I think Aaron Kruger wrote that one. Kruger is a last name I have a really tough time saying. It's kind of like that rural juror thing from 30 Rock or whatever. But yeah, you can definitely tell the difference, Tia. Yeah, you can. We got Eli Cortez in the house, one of our great channel members and Death Squad mods, and a pillar of the YouTube horror community. How are you doing, Eli? Thank you so much for kicking it. Dude, Eli, I finally watched Sky Sharks like a month ago, dude. Oh my gosh. It was so bad and so much fun. It kind of went on a little bit too long, but it was like a so bad it's good. Still, it was great. Totally worth it. And if you guys haven't seen Shark Side of the Moon, fuck, I highly recommend you check that one out. Scream 44 and a third. Yeah, it'll be like Naked Gun 2.5. It'll be great. Naked Gun 33 1/3. Thank you so much for reminding everyone. Yeah, guys, hit that like button, subscribe, all that good stuff, especially if you're new. Let me hear what you got to say in the chat. We're talking about the state of the franchise, the strengths, the weaknesses, opportunities for Scream 7 to do something different, shake things up, give you something that you want to see. Whatever you guys got, let me know. There's a whole bunch of awesome stuff you guys cheering on T. Parker here. Linda says, exactly. Throwing out Gale's character progression to redo the punch from the first film was so disrespectful to Gale as well as Dewey. Such lazy writing. Oh, and that's in 5. Is that in 5? No, because Gale's gone in 5 until the end, right? I can't even remember. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it is in 6. These the Carpenter sisters just go around physically assaulting people in public, and nothing seems to happen, as a result. All right, we got Gigi Kiki Joy says, I love when they incorporate the social commentary into the plot. That is okay. So let's talk about that for a second, and I'm going to bring it up. Let's see here. We can jump around, guys, but just something that we can talk about here. I was going to hit a couple other topics first, but since you brought it up, excuse me, I'm burping. It's terribly unprofessional. More blood, but no meta commentary. It seems like that might be the way we're going. And I'm going to read you guys a quote. I have an article pulled up, so I'm not going to paraphrase. This is an actual quote from Kevin Williamson. Okay, so he was speaking with Empire magazine, and he said, quote, this movie doesn't really have that meta goal. It's continuing the legacy of Sidney Prescott. It's about her daughter. It's about family. That's what he says about the meta. And then he says, as far as gore goes, he says, quote, we said we're going to be less bloody. We kind of screwed up with that. I said, I think we need more blood. And Nev was like, I think you're right. So, yeah, I don't expect it to be any gorier than Scream 4. I think that's the goriest film we've gotten in the franchise so far. So I expect it to be right around there. Hopefully they've got some new Foley sounds for the stab, because it seems like in Scream 5 and 6, they reuse the same sound effect a lot, or the sound effect isn't different enough for me to even notice that it's different, which could certainly be true. But let's chew on that first quote for a sec. This movie doesn't really have that meta goal. So that to me is very surprising. I'm kind of blown away because I think that's something that's been in every single Scream movie. I think in 6, it's not as obvious that it's basically about like obsession with a franchise, which to me doesn't seem, that kind of seems like what they did in Scream 5. Amber and Richie were that way. So it's almost like they repeat the same kind of meta thing in Scream 6. They give it to you from a different perspective because it's the mourning family members. They aren't the crazed fans, but they're the crazed family members of the crazed fans. So it's just kind of an extension of, the commentary in the 5th film. So I think that's another reason why. So let's just like think about that for a second. When we think about Screams 5 and 6, maybe that's another reason why they just don't quite feel like they're right there. It's the Temu version of Scream. It's like 75. It's like you took the dial, 100% would be all the Wes movies. And then Radio Silence, they're like 75 to 80-ish, for the most part. But this one not having a meta goal, I am very surprised, because that's one of the things I was like racking my brain about with Scream 7 until this article came out. Maybe it was like a week and a half ago. So Scream 7 not having a meta goal, I'm like, I guess I was just wasting my time trying to think of what about modern horror is Scream 7 going to have to say? And maybe it won't have anything to say about modern horror, because usually they try to go with the tropes that have been, famous or popular, trendy, not to the point to where it's like a straight up parody exactly like Scary Movie, but kind of halfway there between a serious film and a parody, right? So I'm kind of shocked that we're not getting the meta goal. And then him saying it's continuing the legacy of Sidney Prescott. It's about her daughter. It's about family. Him saying it's about family is like driving this nail into this sentence or into this, statement for me. To clarify that he says it's about family, I'm like, it really makes me think that the killers are going to be, there's going to be a familial connection, which I would kind of just like to see a Ghostface that's a little more chaotic. What they did in the opening of Scream 6, where you have two killers that are like fan killers. Why couldn't you have a movie where the Ghostface is just doing it for shits and gigs? I don't know. Again, and we'll take this back to strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities, because guys, there is a lot of opportunity in the Scream franchise to change things up, and it wouldn't teeter it too far, as far as risks that you could take, big swings they could take, and I guess not having a meta point or a social commentary, at least one that Kevin's willing to share with us in this interview through Empire, not having that is kind of a big swing in a way. And we will see. But the more and more I look at these words, it's about family. I just hope that there's some surprise with the reveal. I don't want the reveal, Leslie Mocker, wow, somebody's son, somebody's brother, somebody's sister, somebody's parent. Like, I get it. It does make sense that they would go that route, but they've done it so much. I just want to see something that is sort of like just like anarchy when it comes to Ghostface. I would love to see Ghostface just be in it to fuck shit up. And that's pretty much the only reason why. Call me crazy. I'd like to see a Ghostface that's just crazy. Just crazy. No vendetta. Just fucking nuts. But I'm going to jump on over. There's been a whole bunch of chats over here from you guys. I love that, this is invigorating for y'all. I'm going to do my best at making sure I don't miss any chats, but we've got a lot going on. We've got a lot of people hanging out. So be patient. If you really want to make sure I don't miss your, whatever you have to say about the Scream franchise, we do have a goal for a super chat goal or whatever, but you could just send in whatever it is. And that way you could at least get your little statement in, but certainly not required. We got Shay Rance jumping on in. What's happening, Shay? Great to see you. Hope you're doing well, bud. Man, are you still recovering from your marathon of Scream movies, Shay? I read that as 9 Inch Nails. Well, that'd be cooler. That'd be cooler if it was 9 Inch Nails more than Ice Nine Kills. Ice Nine Kills, pretty corny stuff, right? It's pretty cheesy shit. Eddie says, I met David at a horror convention a few years ago and he hates Scream 3. Cool guy, and he's right about Scream 3 sucking ass. It was dumb that they changed the original idea because of Columbine. Yeah, I think a lot of movies had to change a handful of things because of what happened, in Colorado. Littleton, is that the name of the town? That is the name of the town, right? Yeah, I don't think Scream 3 sucks ass, but I can see how the original idea would be way cooler for sure. In the last 5 or 6 years, I've kind of warmed up to Scream 3. It's still out of the original 4. It's in last place, but I still do prefer it to 5 and 6. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, and good for them. It's so difficult to make money in the entertainment industry. So if you can, cash it out. Yeah. Yeah, Radio Silence saying they killed Dewey for Gale's progression shows exactly why they're not great at making movies, but they keep on getting work. So I guess similar to Ice Nine Kills, whatever. The opinions of the people that don't like their films or are lukewarm about Radio Silence doesn't really seem to matter. I think they operate best when they're doing their own shit. Like Ready or Not, I think is their best movie. It is really bad. In Scream 5, Tara hates Sam because Sam left. In Scream 6, Tara hates Sam because Sam's around too much. And there are these big like blow up, call out, like emotional trauma therapy sessions, like in public spaces with friend groups around. And it just seems so like eye-rollingly modern, like Robert Downey Jr. eye roll, like, oh my God, these fucking a nowadays horror movie. And it's just so like on the nose about everything they're doing. Gail had lots of potential as a character, but I feel like it was really wasted unless she's the mastermind Ghostface of the cult, if that's a thing. And it could be. It's another reason why I want to see her get killed, is because I don't want to see her used as a Ghostface. I would not like that, but it is very possible. I'm just going to call you Gigi. Hopefully that's okay there, Gigi. Or hopefully it's not Gigi or Guy. No, Gigi. Yeah, I do think she had potential, and I get it. Scream is very like soap opera-y. At least it's turned into that for sure. So I get like, characters can progress, but you don't want them progressing too much because the audience knows them as that character. So I get it. It's like, no matter what, Gail was always going to be like ambitious and all that kind of stuff and try to get hers. I thought she would be less cutthroat about it. Figuratively speaking, cutthroat, but we really haven't. She just constantly regresses. It is too bad. Gail's story along with Sidney was perfectly ended in Scream 5. Yeah, I think so, and that's how bad Scream 6 was. Like, they could not move on from Sidney. They couldn't let her go. And the crazy thing is Scream 6 was financially successful, but it was so bad they still went back. Kind of wild. I'd know. It would be the biggest surprise ever if they were included. Because they both announced, it was announced that neither one was going to be returning. But here's the thing, Billy. I think in the future, rights change hands. Movie rights go to different studios, all that kind of stuff. Like, I can see Jenna and Melissa coming back to the franchise once it changes hands. Never say never in these situations. Like, Jamie Lee Curtis said she was done with horror movies when she left in like the early 80s, and she was like, had to get away from it and, do some other things. And she found success in everything she did as far as, acting goes, right? And then she came back for H2O. And then she came back for Resurrection. And then she came back for 3 more movies. And we didn't think I remember, and I'm sure there's other folks in the chat that can remember this, when H2O was in production and we were like hearing little tidbits. There was a lot less of that back then, thinking 97, the year before it came out. There was a lot less of that. There was a lot more rumor, speculation, just people chatting on like ICQ or IRC or whatever, in chat rooms about this stuff. So it was like, it wasn't the way it is now. Not as much accessibility. And having Laurie Strode come back, and it had been 20 years since the original, which is wild to think that we're almost 50 years away from the original Halloween, but there we go. It was wild that she came back, and then we got her for 4 more after that, and now we're sick of her. How about that? Yeah, she's kind of a nothing burger in both movies. I think she's just not in the movies that much. And I will say this, like, Jenna is she plays her character well. Everything I've seen her in, though, Scream, Beetlejuice, and How to Kill a Unicorn. No, I know it's not called that. Killing of a Unicorn, or whatever the hell it's called. She plays this like difficult to reach angsty teen. In everything. Difficult to reach angsty teen. It's so basic. Yeah. Haven't seen Abigail, but I'll add it to the watch list. It's a lot of people. Shane, I'll say this. A lot of people really love Abigail. I'm pretty like lukewarm on it. Like, I think it's good. Nothing too great. Yeah. I haven't seen Your Monster yet. I've heard good things though. Sam is my least favorite role of hers, and I feel the dreadful writing in 5 and 6 play. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, they have to, right? They have to. The writing is really rough, especially in 6. What's happening, Joel? Welcome on in, man. Thank you so much for kicking it with us here. Looks like I missed Jigsaw coming in. What's happening, Jigsaw? Didn't they originally want Samara Weaving as Sam, but she wasn't available? I have not heard that, but somebody responded to you, Jigsaw. Is that a real thing? Think that is true, Jigsaw. Wild. So they wanted to go Samara in everything. Just put her in everything. Interesting. I wonder if they would have had Catherine Newton play Tara. Oh, there we go. T says Kevin wrote mostly for, but Wes Craven and Ethan Kruger. Why did I think it was Aaron Kruger? And I thought it was Aaron with a EHREN or something. But what I could, yeah, I don't know why I thought that. Did some rewrites like adding the Stabathon and the hospital ending. Okay. Well, and still, okay. So he and Kevin's the only one that on IMDb is getting an official writing credit. So yeah, they probably screenplay credits got all 3 in there. Yeah. Melissa's an okay actress, but she's unbearable in real life. Yeah, I don't, I've only seen little bits of her. And I think from what I've seen of hers, actually, I really liked this one interview she was a part of. And the reason why I liked it is because I was like, that's what young actors should be doing. And she was talking about wanting to get involved in being a producer and helping make movies. Sidney Sweeney's been doing that. Elijah Wood's done it as well. He's not a younger actor or anything like that, but Sidney Sweeney and Melissa are pretty young, and that's what you need to do is start your own production company. Actually have the say in how these movies get made, and then not saying that she would get the rights to Scream or anything like that, but she could, if you're putting yourself in your own movies, you can kind of say what you want to say, and you don't have to worry about having an employer that could look at what you say and say, we don't like that and we don't want to work with you anymore. So that would at least save her from that outcome, right? Let's see here. It's got to be Catherine Newton, right? The audacity of slandering Gail while rocking that Dewey stash. I'm so far behind on the chat. I'm going to skip ahead here. Let's see here. Shaking it up. I think Timothy Simons was obsessed with Stu and Billy, was on Yearbook, took the fountain photo, and will be the only Ghostface in 7. Timothy Simons. Is that somebody that they actually reference in one of the movies? I have to... you're just saying the actor. Gotcha. He's got a mustache like mine in this one picture. Interesting. Or I've got a mustache like his, right? Timothy Simons. Why do I... Okay, so he was in Veep. That's his most well-known thing. Okay. I've seen some of that show. Not all of it. Okay. Somebody had to have taken that picture, right? If they're using a picture that would have been a shot from the original film and they're saying that's a picture, well, that's a wild kind of thing to do in your marketing for sure. We're kind of talking about the whole thing. We're bouncing all over the place, Antonis. So whatever you got, let it out. Jamie says, I've been trying to find some true excitement for Scream 7. I really have, but sometimes all the speculation starts getting to me and I lose interest, just being honest. It can be exhausting, right? And then you gotta, I think there's a healthy amount. Before, I was doing content creation, it was really easy just to kind of unplug, and then now that I'm here talking about it and stuff, it's I can't not talk about a franchise like Scream because it's it's the only franchise that I really I grew up with the old ones. They were already out though. All of the movies that made those franchises big, the big 3 and everything, those movies were already out by the time I was conscious and aware. So it was, Scream was something that I got into, while it was riding its wave after wave of success. But I totally get you, Jamie. It's a lot. There's a lot out there. And that's why I will say this. Out of all the speculation that I've heard, I haven't heard anything where I'm like, oh, I think that's actually what it is. So I've heard so much that I'm still going to be going into the movie being like, I have no idea. Like, I'm just going to be thinking to myself, I just don't want Stu to be alive. And you know, and even if he is, it wouldn't ruin the movie for me, as long as, you know, the rest of or, you know, enough of the other pieces kind of fit into place. Does that make sense? But I totally know what you mean, Jamie. You know, even like right before I went live on this stream, I opened up YouTube, and on my front page there were like 2 or 3 Scream streams going on, and I'm like, of course. I'm like, but you know what? I'm going to have my cool people in there. Like, some people will come from this stream or that stream after they hear this person talk or that person talk. And hopefully we're all talking a little bit different about the franchise. And that's another reason why, Jamie, because I know we're talking Scream 7 here as well, but that's another reason why I wanted to just kind of do a state of the franchise kind of discussion, you know, and just everything is up for chats. So let's go into what to do with the legacy characters. You guys already know Gail. She's got to go. See ya. The mustache has spoken, T. Parker Evans. So, no. But what do we want to do with our legacy characters? You know, like, obviously with Sidney, you know, it's very well known that Nev says that it's in her contract that she can't be killed and can't be Ghostface. So, we don't really need to talk about Sidney too much, but I'll go back to what I said earlier in the stream, which is I want to see her totally crushed emotionally. I want to see her on an emotional island. I want Sidney to just be like, I don't know what to do. Because she's always been so capable and so confident and so like rushing into the fire. You know, like rushing into the gusting flames. You know, that's the way she's approached it all the time. I want to see something different. I want to see her be like, fuck, I just can't. Like, we've all got a breaking point, right? I don't even think it would say anything bad about her character. I don't want her to fall into this valley and then never recover. I want to see her. I want us to have our Empire Strikes Back moment at the end of Scream 7, where things are left kind of suspended. You know, there's it's sort of an in-between, right? And Sidney is completely broken. And we don't know if she's going to recover. I think that would be such an awesome way, in conjunction with maybe we find out who one of the ghost faces is. We find out some part of the mystery, but then we find out there's a bigger part of the mystery to be discovered. So I want that to happen at the end of Scream 7, along with Sidney just kind of like, you know, crashing and burning, like screeching to a halt and just being like, I can't do it. I just want to be done. I think that would make a very intriguing setup for a Scream 8. And it wouldn't just be one dimensional as far as like, ooh, who's the other Ghostface? Like, that's a cool idea. Don't get me wrong. I like that idea. And that idea is probably enough. But I think it would be cool to have another layer onto it, and another thing for us to speculate about. You know, in between now and Scream 8 is what's going on with Sidney and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, Chad and Mindy, what do we do with those? What do you guys think is going to happen with Chad and Mindy? Are we going to lose one of them? Are we going to lose both of them? Are they just going to like pinch off that radio silence era and just, you know, cut it right out? And then moving on from Scream 7, we don't ever have to think about any of those characters from those 2 movies. I don't know. Neil Prescott, where's he? There's a deleted scene from Scream 4 where Dewey talks about Neil having died, but a deleted scene is not canon. Not to me, and I'm sure not to anybody that's worked on the movies. So Neil could technically still be out there. Maybe they'll mention it. What about Mark Kincaid? What's he doing? Is one of those kids Mark Kincaid's kids? Is Tatum Mark Kincaid's kid? And then the other kids belong to Joel McHale's Mark? whatever his last name is. I can't even. Oh wait, he's got. I can think of it now. Evans, because he's got the same last name as Maureen Evans, played by Jada Pinkett Smith in Scream 2. Is there some sort of connection there? Adopted brother and sister? I don't know. But yeah, legacy characters. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about these guys? You're quite all right, Paula. Welcome on in. Thank you so much for joining us. We're just talking about Scream. So whenever I hear the word family, I think of the OC, because what's his face with the caterpillar eyebrows is always like, we're family. All right, I'm gonna skip way ahead. Hopefully I don't miss anything too crazy here, but I do see that Antonis dropped a $5 super chat and says, are we here to talk about any Scream movie? If so, what do you think about Tatum's kill scene? I wonder how it was pulled off. Yeah, Tatum's kill scene from the original film. Well, it looks like they have a very realistic dummy that they put in there. And I mean very realistic. Like, this ain't something that was built with a mannequin, because it seems like it's got some sort of like elasticity and movement to it, right? And the head actually does crush. So I don't know, maybe that's a head that could be like crushed and then put back together. I'm sure if you freeze frame it, it might you might be able to see a little bit more of the magic. You know what I mean, Antonis? But yeah, I think that was pulled off with, a stunt actress shaking her legs in there until the thing happens. And then when they actually have to show that shot of the head getting crushed, they put in a dummy. And then I can't remember if the body moves after that. It might. So if so, they just go back to the shot where the actual actress is just showing her butt and her legs kicking. So yeah, a little bit of movie magic, blocking, camera placement. Yeah. It was definitely practical. I don't know if anything in the original Scream was CG as far as special effects go. I'd be very surprised. But thank you so much, Antonis, for the $5 super chat, man. Really do appreciate you. Let's see here. What else do we got? She's good. Yeah, she's not in it very long, but she's very, very good. Ernest Justice jumps in and says, the franchise lost its steam to me after the third film and completely burned it with the fourth. When everyone feels safe, you lose the stakes. I love Scream 4. I'm not going to come down on you, Ernest. You know, everyone can have their own opinions on these. That's the great thing is, like, especially when you're talking about art, no one has to get bent out of shape about their opinions. I mean, people can be dicks about it. People can like make it personal, but you're being sweet here. I do think Scream 4 is pretty good. When everyone feels safe, you lose the stakes. Well, I don't think that's necessarily true with Scream 4, but I kind of get what you're saying. Like, if Gale got killed in Scream 4, I would have been totally okay with that. I think Dewey should have been the last one, other than Sidney, obviously. I think Dewey should have been the last one. He's the last connection. Tatum was Sidney's best friend, and Dewey felt like a big brother. And I think that would have been more crushing to hold that kill a little bit longer. Get rid of Gale in 4, maybe keep Dewey until 6 or 7, something like that. But I mean, plenty of people get killed, right? I guess it's just not your legacy type characters in Scream 4. But yeah, I think losing its steam, I can see that. I get even people that really like Scream are like, man, the formula's getting tired. I'm in that boat, but I'm trying to be as nice as possible about it. I'm waiting. I'm going to reserve judgment until I see Scream 7 because, maybe Scream 7 will do enough different and will surprise me and shake up the formula enough to where I'm like, okay, cool. That was a good Scream movie, and they've opened up some new things and tried some new things. That's what I want to see. Not everyone loved the David Gordon Green Halloween movies, and I get it. Every single one of those movies took chances. Every single one. Kills and ends, more so. 18 is the safe one, and it still took chances. Like, putting Michael's mask on Sartain, I just about had a shit fit in the theater. I was like, please take that off right now. Is I was like Andy in The Office when Dwight is wearing the Cornell sweatshirt and he's like, take that sweatshirt off. I'm just like, you gotta tell me that this guy isn't gonna be Michael for the rest of the movie. And then 2 movies later, I loved it when somebody else became Michael. Yeah, well, what kind of weirdo am I? Anywho, continuing on. Let's see here. What do we got? Danielle Harris was lowballed for H6 and came back for the RZ films. Very true. Yes. Yeah, they did not want to give her normal pay or like return actress pay. Yeah. Me too, Tia. It was, I remember the day. I remember the group of people I went and saw it with. I was very, very excited the whole day. Like after school, we drove around. It was a partly rainy, partly sunny day in Juneau, which is kind of strange. I remember the feel and the vibe in the air. Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, needing money is a real thing. It's true. I can't blame any artist for making money. I can critique the art that they create. I think that's totally fair. But not my business to tell you what to do with your business. Aaron Click jumps on in. What's happening, Aaron? Says Scream 6 wasn't so much bad as it was frustrating, at least for me. Lots of good ideas and good scenes, as well as on the opposite side, unrealistic stuff. Yeah, I think so. I watched it last night with Fachi, Aaron, and I do think the script is really poor. It's just a lot of like Gen Z bickering and bitching, and it's just like modern in an over-the-top kind of way, where I'm just like, oh, what the hell are these characters like? Why are these characters talking to each other like this? And then also just the decisions that are made. The whole thing about Ghostface having all of the evidence from the previous killing sprees, that's the biggest bridge too far for Scream 6. So I'm guessing it's Detective Bailey flew out to California, stole a bunch of evidence, all centered around the same kind of crime, or, similar crimes, ritualistic murders, stole similar evidence, pretty much everything. And then just brought it all back to New York, rented out a theater, set it all up in the theater. What? Like that should never be in a script. That is terrible. People, I'm going to bring it on back to Halloween 2018 again. People had a big enough problem, and I agree, it doesn't make any sense that the podcaster Aaron is like, I got this from a buddy of mine at the State Department, and he just got the Michael Myers mask. He's just like carrying it in like a satchel. What? Like, does this stuff actually happen? And then, especially with Scream 6, it's like, so if you just told me that the evidence lockers were broken into and everything was taken, which is so tough to believe anyways, if they at least said something like that, which I don't believe that they do, then you're basically telling me that a police officer went across country. You probably have to sign in when you go into evidence lockers to like see stuff. You probably have to have a good damn reason to take a look at it too. They probably just don't say, oh yeah, you're with homicide in New York. Yeah, come on back, sift through it all. So yeah, as you can tell, Aaron, I have a tough time getting over that one. And it's a huge part of the story. It's huge. It's a massive part of the story. So there might be like a cool moment or two. Like I think the opening is kind of cool. Trying to think of something else. The subway stuff, it's kind of, it's whatever. It's sort of fever dreamish a little bit, the subway stuff, but I like seeing all the different Halloween costumes and doing the Easter egg hunt, kind of thing. Yeah, I really, man, the more I watch it, Ernest, the more I really dig Roman and his motive and the performance between Scott Foley and Neve Campbell. Those performances together, really good shit, man. I've said it so much, but I feel like I'm the only one talking about it, so I'll say it again. That moment where Roman is like on the ground and he's like bleeding out. I think he's been stabbed like you know, in the neck or just off to the side or something like that. You know, and he holds Sidney, like holds his hand, and he looks up at her, and he's like, you know, he's like hyperventilating and obviously, you know, on the throes of death. And he looks up at her like, I could have had a relationship with this person. And that is some fucking solid acting. Like to say something with a look, right? Like now they just literally say everything. There's no like nuance. Has left society in such a big way that like movies don't even get written with nuance anymore for the most part. Of course it still happens, but by and large, ugh, I don't know. Yeah, I knew it was something like that. I was just like fucking around with the title because I was like, oh fuck Death of a Unicorn. Stupid title, kind of a stupid movie. But it was, you know, fun in moments. Death of a Unicorn. Yeah. Let's see what else we got going on here. Oh, I'm not. Whew. All right. She was in Spider-Man? Which Spider-Man is she in? I mean, there's so many Spider-Man movies. Scream 3 is more entertaining than most films in a lot of horror franchises. Scream at least has been consistent overall. Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, consistent as far as like, you know, quality of film. I think too consistent as far as structure and formula goes a little bit. What's happening in real life? Says Found My Clan. I'm so excited to see seeing theaters near me almost sold out for a lot of times. Hell yeah. I checked in for the 6 p.m. IMAX on Thursday, and yeah, it was mostly full. I try to sit as close to the middle as I can, so I'm like row H, which I think for IMAX is still like, it's, you know, kind of right in the middle there, front to back. But I'll be surrounded by strangers, so they better keep their fucking mouths shut, and neither one of them better get nachos. Okay. Nanette is curiously optimistic. Hell yeah, Nanette, welcome on in, one of our great channel members. Nettie, how you doing, Nettie? Yeah, I dig Roman, man. David says, I haven't seen a single Scream film, but someone in a film class showed the opening scene from the first film. That's a really good opening scene. Yeah, man. I mean, here's the thing, David. I'm assuming you're a horror fan since you're kicking it with us so much. And, you know, if you're not a horror fan, you can still kick it with us. How about that? I would say if you are a horror fan, you would dig these movies, you know, especially if you're a fan of slashers. They pay a lot of homage, like open homage to Friday the 13th, Halloween, like that kind of stuff. Especially like the first Scream is very much like it takes huge Halloween inspirations. Other than the whodunit kind of, you know, revenge aspect, like a killer actually having a motive, but a lot of the other stuff is very familiar, you know. So if you're a fan of slashers, I think you would like the Scream movies. Yeah, I don't think there's any bad movies. They're just comparatively bad. I would say 5 and 6 are comparatively bad. Let's see here. What if they give Nev the Barrymore treatment? Well, it's in her contract that she can't die and can't be Ghostface. So unless they changed that and didn't tell anyone, which maybe they could have. I don't think they will, though. I think she's going to be in the movie through and through. If we ever see her get killed off in a movie, I don't think they would do it in the opening, because I think that would be they would be like, we're not going to do a Halloween resurrection thing with Sidney. We can't Halloween resurrection Sidney Prescott. No, never. Eddie Michaels, speaking my language, says Evil Dead is a far more consistent horror franchise. As far as quality of film, yeah. Oh, yeah. Scream has one great movie. The other Scream movies are bad or decent. Scream 2 is my favorite sequel, but even that falls apart in the second half. I don't think so, but again, it's just opinion on art. Like, I think Screams 1, 4, and 2 are really, like, that's a pretty solid 3 movies right there. But yeah, Evil Dead, I mean, I got the poster right there. It's my favorite horror franchise of all time, Eddie. And I love that genre-wise, they're kind of all over the place. You know, they found their nice little spot, you know, more recently, kind of going with the vibe of the original Evil Dead from 81. but just with a modern look and production design and everything like that. But yeah, I think Evil Dead is has got the most like bang for your buck, and it's a horror franchise that I don't think has any weak spots. So there you go. At one point, Sidney was the original opening attack in Scream 4 before they changed it. Interesting. And so they were going to have her live, though, right? That would have been interesting if Wes did the, somebody lives before, because Radio Silence did that with Tara, which was new and different at the time. Where's the razor and shaving cream at? I got the razor. I don't even have shaving cream because I don't ever usually need it. So I just take some soap and get it really frothy and just put a bunch of frothy soap on my face. But I think I'm growing the beard back in, T. So there you go. You're just gonna have to deal with my creepy stash. Somebody said, what I got or something earlier today. Somebody was like, "Oh, I like your pervy mustache." I'm like, at least it fits my personality now. How about that? Well, he would be considered a legacy. Yeah, I mean, if he were still around, yeah. But he's not around. So now the legacy characters are Sidney, Gale, Chad, and Mindy. Right? I think so. I think that's all we got for legacy characters coming back. Maybe Kirby, but that was like reported and then, said it wasn't. They said it wasn't true after that. So maybe they're trying to sneak her in for something, or maybe we get her in 8. I don't know. Pretty sure it's in Nev's contract that Sidney will never die. That's what I heard. Yeah. Yeah, they would never give her the Casey treatment. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's something that she put in there a while ago because she didn't want it to get off the rails, the longer they went. Because at some point they were, somebody would pitch that idea, right? Would modern audiences be open or receptive to a cliffhanger ending? I think that's a good question. For this franchise, I think so. For this franchise in particular, I think that they should do that. Now, I don't know if they're going to go back to the future mode and actually put "to be continued" on the screen, "to be concluded" or whatever they do on with part 3 or before part 3. But yeah, I think we could get down with that. I think so for sure. People watch these streaming shows all the time. They kind of have like a resolution with something that's not quite resolved at the end that gets picked up in the following season. So it's kind of like that. I think the biggest thing for it, Tia, it would be so smart for Paramount and Spyglass to have a cliffhanger, because people like me and Killjoy Jake and M from Horror and Sister Pam and Wolfman's Got Nards and Sledgehammer Horror, I Like Scary, Shay Rants, like everybody, we'll sit there and we'll talk about your movie for the 2 years it takes you to make it, or the year and a half it takes you to make it. We will do, because I'm sure the content creation side has been doing a really good job of pushing, kind of a grassroots sort of movement for Scream 7. Not that it really like needs it, but I think it's definitely helping. And if this film goes well and there's a cliffhanger, then we're all just going to rush right to our computers and we're going to talk about what's coming next. And maybe that'll bring some fatigue to the fandom, perhaps a little bit, but I think it will, it's marketing that the studio doesn't have to pay for. So I think they'd be really smart to do it. Sid should live, but they need to move on after Scream 8. Yeah, I think they should. And I think that they could have had a nice handoff with the Carpenter sisters if Scream 5 and Scream 6 weren't written so poorly. I think it really is the writing. And I guess it all worked out because Spyglass ended up not wanting to bring Melissa back after her contract was up. She signed a 2-picture deal. So I guess it worked out. And at least her character, that's like the one thing out of the Radio Silence duology. The one thing that we really got that you can like put a stamp on is that Sam has exorcised her demons. She's faced the ghost of her father, and she's faced 5 Ghostface killers in the span of a year of her life, I guess. So And after all of that, she decides, I'm not gonna let this define me. I'm not gonna be angry. I'm gonna go be with my family, be with my sister, this person that I love. And God knows where the mom is. I mean, Sam and Tara's mom might be worse than Maureen. What's she doing? Or more importantly, who is she doing over in England? She fucking other killers? She might be. She might be. It would be, yes. But, you know, it might be the right way to just like nip that shit in the bud, you know? Let Mindy try to avenge his death and we only see her as cameos in future films. I think she is kind of insufferable as a character, though. I'd rather see Chad live than Mindy. But in my heart, I'm like, oh, they would kill Chad and let Mindy live. That's how they make movies now. It'll get to the point there just won't even be any. It would be 0 men in the movie, other than maybe one of the ghost faces could be a man, but men can't be all the ghost faces. No, and can't be involved in the hero group anymore either. Can't do that. Even Sam's fuck buddy from Scream 6, like he brings the cops, but they show up after everything's like all done anyway, you know. So he didn't even get to help. All right, what do we got going on here? Let me see here. Hey, she could end up in that hospital that we're seeing in the trailer. Ooh, what if we get 2 scenes with the hospital? And what if one of the scenes, what if all those drawings are Sidney's drawings and she is the crazy one at the end of the movie? Damn, did I just blow your guys' minds? Did I? Who lives and who dies? Let's play this game, guys. I mean, I know I'm so far behind on your guys' on the chat and everything. I'm like 15 minutes behind. So let me see if I can grab a few here. Yeah, it's true. They were all, even with the problems that the DGG movies had, and they have legitimate problems, you know, like I don't know if they have like the biggest holes, but they have things where I'm just sort of like, huh. They still work so well to me. And I think you're right. Like no one was safe. There were actual stakes. Each one felt different from one another. They all have a different vibe too. Kind of like that. Yeah. Well, Appetite's so good, Ernest. Like you can't, how you're going to go out there and you're not going to play My Michelle? Like you're not going to play It's So Easy? You're not going to play Mr. Brownstone? Come on. Dude, Mr. Brownstone, definitely a song I shouldn't have been singing at like 10 years old, but what a fucking ripper of a song. Yep. Jill's shirt was in the Ghostface shrine in Scream 6, therefore she was acknowledged as the killer in that timeline. So, so the news finally caught up that Jill was part of it. Because at the end of 4, she's a hero, right? Because the news hadn't caught up with everything. Yeah. It's wild. It's wild. Let's see here. Nettie says, Davey, you'd be surprised how many times people have lost and how many things are stolen from evidence lockers, especially in the 80s and 90s. I'm not sure how much it's done nowadays. Well, a little harder to steal things. Here's the thing. Yeah, if you're trying to steal something in it would have been I think those movies are modern. So it would have been 2023 when he's trying to steal this shit. Cameras all over. Again, you'd have to like check in to an evidence. I imagine you would have to show credentials. Somebody signs you in, asks what you're wanting to look at. There's probably, like a library. There's probably it's very well documented. So 80s, 90s, sure, before like cameras everywhere, but 2023 cameras everywhere. And we're talking 5 mass murder sprees. So, I mean, that's a lot of evidence. And everything, Nettie. Go pause, go to Google and look up what the shrine looks like. All of that was stolen. All of it. Every Ghostface costume, every Ghostface mask. It's absurd. It's a bit too far, I think. Maybe Dewey was selling off evidence to an anonymous buyer. Maybe he was forced to quit the force or it becomes public. Well, but that's not part of the story. So we can fan fiction that to try to explain it, but looking at everything we have, it's just bad writing, you know, by Guy Busick and whatever that other guy's name was. I can't remember his name. Charlie's a good Ghostface, yeah. Mickey is Gigi's favorite Ghostface. He has my favorite lines. Surprise cameo just for you. It's one of my favorites right there. And then I love Billy's mother. Didn't see it coming, did ya? It's another one. I mean, he's got so many. The one-liners, and I said this yesterday on Fachi's stream while we watched Scream 6. The reveal of Scream 2. Scream 2's finale has some of the best one-liner dialogue. And sure, you can say it's like cheesy, corny, whatever. It just resonates with me. So best is an opinion of mine, you know. But not only Mickey's got his great lines and everything too. He's like, Bob Dole on the witness stand in my defense. Like all that stuff that he says about the Christian Coalition defending him, like that is amazing. Really smart, pointed, well-written commentary. Very accurate for the time. Like I lived in that time. You know, I was 15 when that movie came out, and I was like, yep, that's exactly the way politics were at that time, where we were at a point where, you know, trying to blame movies, and not even just the Republicans, because Lieberman was trying to, it was a coalition of politicians that were like video games, music, and movies are making people violent. It was a wild time. It was a wild time. But Mrs. Loomis has great one-liners as well. You know, it's called a makeover. Should think about getting one. Look a little tired yourself there, Gail. Like that. Oh my gosh, that's a mic drop moment right there. And then I think my favorite from Mrs. Loomis, and I'm probably gonna fuck it up, but when she's like trying to convince Cotton to shoot Sidney, and she's got the gun on Sidney, and she's like hiding behind her, and she's like, she put you in prison, or she sent you to prison for a year. Personally, I think it would be rather poetic. You know, like so many great one-liners there. And we need a really good Ghostface reveal in Scream 7, because I think 5 and 6 have been pretty lackluster, and I think the Ghostface reveal in 4 is right up there with the first Ghostface reveal. So, anywho, I'm just blah blah blahing at this point. Let me catch up with you guys down here. Make sure. It's just unnecessary. It is a bummer. It's like they killed him. They were just like, we got to get rid of a legacy character, and Gail really isn't in this movie. Like, you know, she shows up at the very end. She's on TV in the first like 2/3 or whatever it is. So it's just like, okay, just because Dewey's in this movie more, we're gonna kill him. Kind of dumb. I felt like they had to. They probably felt like they had to kill off a legacy character. You know. Agree with the ending of Scream 6 regarding how it fall apart at the end. Yeah, Chad got stabbed way too much, bro. It was pretty rough. I just watched it yesterday, and it's very cringy. The whole thing, the double knife swipe. I can't. No. Synchronized like celebrations. What is it like? Scoring a touchdown in the NFL now, and the two, you know, is Ghostface gonna do the gritty in the next movie? Like, stop it. Synchronized knife swipes. Drop the movie a star rating just for that, or half a star. See, I think she's fine as an actress. I just don't think the character was very well drawn, honestly. So I even think it's about her. You know, I'm not going to comment on like whether or not I agree with her personal feelings on geopolitical affairs. That's not really that relevant, you know, how I feel about that. You know, I believe that people should be able to say what they want to say, but I also understand that, you know, the freedom to say something doesn't always mean the freedom from the consequences of saying that. So, you know, do what you want with that. Jared says, Chad is a human pincushion now anyways. How many times has that dude been stabbed? A lot. 15, 16, 17, 20. I don't know. Ben Grimm jumping on in, one of our great channel members, says body count 5 or less. Really? I'm curious about this too, Ben. So, and Ben, let me know, do you think Chad and Mindy, do you think both of them bite it? Do you think only one? And if so, which one? Do you think Gail makes it, Ben? And when you say body count 5 or less, I'm like, I can totally see that. However, let's just say boyfriend and girlfriend from that Stu Macher museum scene in the trailer. Let's count them. They're both gone. So that's 2 right there. At least one of Tatum's friends gone. So that's 3 right there. Maybe Sidney's husband, Mark, it looks like he's getting it in the trailer. That could either be so obvious, of course he's dead, or it could be some sort of misdirect. So maybe that's 4 right there. Chad or Mindy, so that's 5. Chad and Mindy, that's 6. Now, what about these boyfriend characters we haven't even seen yet? We haven't even seen Ethan Embry's character or Anna Camp's character, who is listed as Sidney's neighbor. You mean Leslie Macher? Which is, of course, a lot of other people have speculated that that is the character that she would play because of her age and relative age to Nev and blah, 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 blah. So that could be a thing. 5 or less. I wouldn't be surprised, let's say this, Ben. Let's throw away opening kills. So if we get boyfriend and girlfriend at the Macher Museum, if they die, let's just throw those away. That's just for like shits and gigs. We don't know those characters. That's just like we need, you need some kindling on the in the fire to get the embers going and everything like that. So 5 more after that, I could buy that for sure. I don't think it's so much about body count in Scream movies as it is about trying to find some creative kills and then just having a great reveal. Yeah. Sidney and Gail live and Chad and Mindy die is what Billy's saying. I can totally see that. I've got a feeling that they're both going to go. And it is just a feeling. I haven't talked to anybody about spoilers. I don't have any inside track or anything like that. And, the people that I know of that have seen the movie already, they've been super respectful and haven't been saying anything or offering teasers or anything like that. If Sidney loses her daughter and husband, she'll go crazy. I'm not saying that they're going to do that. But what if Sidney does not get to Ghostface before he ends her daughter's life? It'll really mess with her. Yeah, it would. And I don't think they're going to kill Tatum, the daughter. I think the husband is certainly on the chopping block. I think that there's going to be some AI trickery on the televisions. We've seen these staticky TVs in the trailers. And I think that Ghostface is going to be either showing Sidney it's going to be AI iterations of previous Ghostfaces and friends that she's lost and family members that she's lost. So it's going to be like taking over the airwaves and just tormenting her with these images and these voices. That's how I think that Matthew Lillard gets brought into the whole thing, and Scott Foley and all that. You can basically bring back any of the Ghostfaces you want to. We hear David Arquette's voice in one of the trailers as well. He signed on to the movie. His character's dead, so it could be used both sides. Ghostface taunting her, and then them, or the new group of Ghostfaces taunting her with all sorts of imagery. Maybe they show her Tatum dying when Tatum doesn't really die. Maybe that kind of breaks her. I don't know. Ooh, Rocket Queen's another good one too. Yeah. What's happening? Scott Walker kicking it with us says, hello there, my friend. My name is Scott Walker. I am a huge Scream fan of the franchise since the very beginning. I saw the original when I was 6 years old in 1998 on video. Ooh, VHS. Yeah, Scott, welcome on in, man. I have seen you, although I guess maybe that Scott Walker could be a popular name, but I think I've seen you in some streams elsewhere, man. Thank you so much for kicking it with us. You are hanging out with the Death Squad. If you like what we do here, hit that like button, subscribe, and you're going to get plenty more content. Now, as far as Scream content goes, Scott, we're going to be doing something really fun. So, guys, Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to be on Killjoy Jake's channel. with a whole shitload of people. It's going to be a big old Scream 7 panel. And we're going to be talking about like our final like wants, wishes, theories, feelings, and all that stuff on that stream. That's why we're kind of taking it from a different angle here tonight, right? Because I'm going to be saving all that for Killjoy Jake's stream, 7 p.m. Eastern Friday. And then after that, here on this channel, I'm thinking of doing a live tier maker ranking where you guys do the voting. And I have you all vote all of the Ghostface killers so far, of course. That's what I'm thinking of. But yeah, let's do it that way. Yeah, that would be fun. Wouldn't that be a fun way to spend a Friday? I love doing the tier maker stuff with you guys and seeing you guys, you know, how you guys all rank everything and having that discussion going. Super fun. Yeah, welcome on in, Scott. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, Tipper Gore was all part of that. Yeah, she went after the dead Kennedys and Twisted Sister and all that stuff. It's crazy. How far is the line that Scream can cross before it becomes too meta? Like, if the Scream movies actually existed within the universe instead of the Stab movies, it would be too meta for me. If they ever looked at the camera and like said something, I'd be like, you know. But I think they can push it quite a bit in Scream because they, you know, because Wes and Kevin set up that vibe and feel with the original. Kevin more so, I would imagine, you know, with the dialogue and everything like that. But I'd like to give them both credit because filmmaking is a collaborative process, you know. Scott says the actress who played Mrs. Loomis in Scream 2 is actually the voice actress of Andy's mother in the Toy Story movies. I had what? Laurie Metcalf did the voice for Andy's mom in Toy Story? Really? See, I know her, Scott, as I'm a little bit older than you. I was 14 when the original came out. So what? You were born in 90. Yeah, there you go. You said you were 6 in 98, so you're born in 92. Okay, so I'm an 82 baby, and I always think of Laurie like when I saw Scream 2, I'm like, oh shit, it's Jackie from Roseanne. That's what I thought. She's 70 years old. All right. Is she? Oh yeah, she's in Uncle Buck. I love her in Uncle Buck. She's so sassy and saucy. I'm not seeing there it is, Toy Story. Wow. And she was on the Big Bang Theory? So they had two people from Roseanne. Crazy. Okay, I'll stop looking at Google now. But anyways, that's wild, Scott. Thank you for scaring that information. That's like a pun, right? That's like some cheesy pun that someone like Rhonda from Up All Night would say instead of sharing. Something the Crypt Keeper would say. Something I'd like to scare with you. Wait, that's more of like a that's more a Scooby-Doo. Can I even do I don't even know if I can do like a high-pitched scratchy. Yeah, I can't really do it. I feel like my voice is gonna totally crack if I try, so I'm not gonna push it. They're already talking 8. Yes, from everything that I've heard, the official like green light hasn't been shared. You know, it's Variety hasn't been like boom green light on this movie for sure, but they are in everything I've heard, Ben. They are in pre-production, so I don't know. They'll probably know after the first opening weekend. They'll know after the first couple days if they're going to make Scream 8. It'll be greenlit. If it's going to happen, it'll be greenlit within a week or two of the movie coming out, probably. Because I would imagine they would want to jump on it as, you know, as soon as they can. Yeah, she does do camp, right? Doesn't she? Laurie Metcalf's really good. Yeah. Does there need to be a Ghostface reveal? In real life, killers get away with their crimes all the time. There doesn't. But I do think, like, to make us a cliffhanger, like, satisfying, it would be cool to get a little bit of that. You know, if it's a team of ghost faces, a duo, trio, whatever. As long as it's not one person by themselves, you could have one person get caught, right? And then we find, maybe we could think the whole movie that it's one solo ghost face killer, right? And they get caught, killed, blah, 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 and then the phone rings again. And that's where we get our surprise, Sidney. You know, and it's Stu. Hopefully not. But, you know, that they could do something like that, and then the screen goes to black. or whatever right after that phone call gets answered. Could be fun. Could be fun. I also find the knife swipe sync cringy as well. Yeah. I asked Matt last night on our stream. He's like, oh, the double knife swipe's great. I think Linda, if you're still in the chat, I think Linda really says it was hot as fuck. But I think, yeah, I was like, Matt, so what, did they discuss that? They're like, all right, we're going to run in there. We're going to stab this guy a whole bunch of times. Then we'll take a step away and we'll do a synchronized knife swipe. Like, really? Really? Synchronized knife swipe. That's the least masculine thing Ghostface could ever do, which is fine. Ghostface doesn't have to be masculine, but it's not very tough. You know, not very tough at all. Ghostface is revealed to be an android. The real one calls Sidney at the end. I thought you were saying they're on an android. She's like, oh, it's an android person calling me. Oh, they sent me a text and it's green. It's a green blurb. All the legacy characters live? Damn. Anna Camp and Kyle Gallner are too close in age to be mother and son. I don't think Anna's playing Leslie. They can always fudge that, you know, with casting people, but that's a good point, T. Love the double knife swipe. It's my love of cinema. But within the story, though, you think this makes no sense, right? It's a little like, I think the double knife swipe is just, I don't know. It makes me want to turn off the movie. It's one of those things where I'm like, lame. It is a jump the shark. I would say if there's a jump the shark moment in the Scream franchise, it's either the double knife swipe or Bailey being like, yeah, it's me. Of course it's me. Like, that's exactly how the writer presented that at the writer's room. And the killer, it's Detective Bailey. Yeah, why not? I don't know. We spun the wheel. It landed on his name. So that's what we're going with. And we'll just figure out the rest from there, you know? What about you, Dave? Are you one of those people who personally believe Stu could be alive or no? I do not believe he is alive. I don't want Stu to be alive. I don't think that would necessarily ruin the movie, but I think it would be very difficult to write it to where Stu's alive and have it make sense and not be as cringy as the double knife swipe. Oh, let's see here. We're kind of talking about this a little bit. I'm just curious. You don't have to name who you think Ghostface is, because we still haven't even seen half of the characters in the movie in any of the advertising or anything like that. But do you guys think it's going to be a total reinvention? Like, kind of like what I was talking about earlier. Is it going to be something that's just like Agent of Chaos, like anarchy, just somebody that wants to like fuck it all up, like Heath Ledger's Joker? Is that the kind of person that's going to be under the Ghostface mask, and they're just full of shit? They're not from Woodsboro. They're not connected to anything. They just want to fuck shit up and be the one finally to have somebody be known to be responsible for Sidney Prescott's death. They want to be the Ghostface that finally does it. It could just be that. So do you think it's going to be like that would be like the reinvention side? Ding, 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 ding. So do you think they're going to kind of deconstruct it and rebuild it? Or do you think it's just going to be a refinement, you know, a little bit of a spin and a little bit of a twist on something that's seemingly familiar? Is it going to be the family member of a former Ghostface, the family member of a former victim? Is it going to be kind of like what we expect with a little zest thrown in there? I don't know. I would like to see reinvention. I would like to see things really get shook up here. But I think they're going to go a little safer. Scream has always been safer than I anticipate. You know, going into Screams 5 and 6, I was like, oh man, they're going to totally like do something new with this because it's like a, you know, modern slasher. They're going to like, it's going to be a cool kind of reboot. And no, it wasn't. It was very much more of the same, but with a modern twist on just like dialogue. So I want to see some bigger shots taken here. Shoot some logo threes, Kevin Williamson. Let's see what you guys are saying here. I was a grown-ass adult when Scream came out. Tia, I had no idea. I figured we're about the same age, Tia. But yeah, I was 14 when the first one came out. 14 and a half. I hate the Leslie Mocker theory, says Brian Boucher. I hope Anna Camp's character is a red herring and saves Sidney's life in that. That'd be great. I don't want it to be and you know, part of one of the things about being a content creator, if you guys can just let me share a little bit here. I mean, I love, like, one of my favorite thing about being a content creator is when I make a video that brings in new people and resonates with people, like a pre-recorded vid, and people show up to the comments. They're excited, they're engaged, they want to converse with one another, they want to hear my thoughts on what they've got to say. And even if they don't want to hear what I have to say, I like to reply to people. But I do see a lot of these kinds of theories, Brian, where it's very, you know, I guess I don't mean any offense to anybody, but I'll just say a surface level kind of theory that, like, you could just take a look at, you know, you could watch the movies once and sort of like make these theories, you know, is Sidney's dad Ghostface? Is it Leslie Mocker? Did Sidney have a kid with Billy? That was one that I saw too. Did Sidney have a kid with Billy, like a secret child, just like Maureen had a secret child, and now that child's all grown up? Like, that would be then we couldn't even like Sidney anymore. But it is like, I love seeing all the comments come in and all the different thoughts come in. And then you are going to get some that are like, man, that, like, this person really has thought of their theory. But I do see a lot of Leslie Mocker. Anna Camp's playing Leslie Mocker. And I think it's just because there are a lot of people saying that that's very likely. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. It would be cool if, you know, like, who was it that just said it? Somebody just said, where was it? But just, is it the last thing that, no, you just said I was a grown ass adult when Scream came out. Oh, Brian, it was your own comment. And I'm like searching for it, and it's right there in front of my face. Yeah. I hope that they go with something a little more creative, and that it's not what it seems with Anna Camp's character. Jason Carpenter, one of our great channel members, jumps in and says, I'm a happy camper with everything I've gotten from Scream. I remember being in college 15 years, losing my mind when 15 years ago when Scream 4 dropped, when I thought it was over after Scream 3 being an 8th grader. All right. Yeah, it was a huge break, right? 11 years and now 15 years since 4. And I mean, a big break since between 4 and 5. So yeah, I mean, this is what do you think, Jason? Do you think this is going to feel like a sequel to 4? T. Parker Evans had said that earlier on in the stream, where he thinks this one's going to feel like the true sequel to Scream 4. What do you think about this? I was on a live stream and this woman got oh, okay. Well, you know, usually I try not to talk about this kind of stuff here because, you know, of course I'm a human and I've got my own thoughts and opinions on this, that, and the other thing. But I talk about movies on my YouTube channel. So I would say there'd be nothing wrong with a black person playing Ghostface. I mean, it would be weird to say that any group of people would be protected to where they couldn't be cast as like a villain in a movie. Yeah, I mean, that would be, it's almost like it would be weird. It's weird like to not ever do it. But yeah, whatever. I mean, people get offended at all sorts of stuff. And people, another thing too, Scott, is people take things personally when they're not about them. They'll make it about them so they can get offended. You know, we live in an interesting time where manufactured outrage is not in short supply all over the spectrum. I was in the military and saw Scream 1 on the big screen in South Korea. Brian, thank you so much for your service. We won't forget it. And that's got to be pretty exciting. What a cool memory. What a cool memory to have of being in South Korea and station and watching the movie for the first time. It's got to be so exciting. I'm curious, Brian, was it like a month after the movie came out? Was it right when the movie came out? Like, I'm just curious as to how long folks that are deployed would have to wait, or if they get a little special treatment on the movie side, since you guys are, I would say fighting the good fight, although hopefully there's no fighting going on in actual South Korea, but by and large, fighting the good fight. 86. All right, so yeah, you're just a few years younger than me. Yeah. Yeah, she's great, and she was in Field of Dreams. Really, Amy Madigan, right? Is that her name? Yeah, so good. Yeah, I loved her in Uncle Buck. Yeah, we got a little Weapon, Scream 2, Uncle Buck crossover with Laurie Metcalf in there as well. What do you think of the idea of different color? Yeah, I don't want that. I don't want different robes. No, I would like to see Ghostface in snow, but I'd like to see Jason in snow. I'd take almost any icon in snow. It'd be cool to see. Confirm that there's going to be more than, I wish I didn't click that, Scott. Scott, no sharing of spoilers or things that might be spoilers, okay? Like, I don't even want, like, I heard from somewhere that this is happening, or I read somewhere that this is happening. We don't want to, we're not spoiling anything. After the movie comes out, we will have streams where we talk about spoilers, and it'll be very obvious that we're talking about spoilers. But I read the first half of the first sentence, and I don't want to read the rest because I don't want anything possibly spoiled for myself or anyone else. So there you go. Lady boner activated with that double knife swipe. As they swipe the knives, you slip right out of your chair. Right, Lynn? F them bitches that do not like the green text. I don't feel that way, but I've heard other people say that in passing, where they're like, oh, I got this text from somebody and it was like the green bubble. And I was like, they're like, I got the ick. And I'm like, it's just a different phone style. That's all it is. That's all it is, man. Stevie from I Know What You Did is revealed to be a killer, and Jennifer Love Hewitt and Brandy show up to help out, and thus we finally get the Scream I Know What You Did Last Summer crossover. Yes, man. I Know What You Did Last Summer 2025 really didn't know how to handle that reveal, and really didn't know how to handle writing a script. There's a scene in that movie where Stevie is faking that she's concerned. She's acting like she's concerned about one of the people in the friend group with Ray there. It's just her and Ray, and she's acting all worried about him. No one's heard from him, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, don't worry, Stevie, like, you're going to make it through this. One of those two people killed this guy, and she's like faking. Oh my God. They did it just for us. It was just for the audience that they feigned interest in a character's fate. Perhaps Anna Camp will just break out in song and we'll get Scream the musical. Is she a singer? I don't know that I've really seen her in anything. Although I looked her up and I was like, man, she low-key like looks like Jennifer Lawrence's sister or something. Like, to me, I think she looks a lot like Jennifer Lawrence. I have a tough time telling the difference. Oh, she's from Pitch Perfect. That's why you say breaking a song. There you go. Yeah. Pitch Perfect. Man, they have 3 of those movies? Do they have more than 3 of those movies? Probably, and she's only in 3 of them. Entertainment's a wild business, man. You think Stu is alive and you think he's the killer? All right. It very well could be. I mean, whoever burns down the Mocker house is taking something personally, or wanting to just completely bury the past. Kind of like a, Kylo Ren and Rey thing from The Last Jedi. Hope my theater experience isn't ruined with Scream 7. Somebody brought a crying baby last week. Oh my gosh. Yeah, man. Usually I have pretty good experiences in the theater. I went and saw, what was it? We Bury the Dead. And this guy took his fucking shoes off. like 3 seats down, just socks, reclined in his chair, shoes off. Did the whole annoying thing where he waited until the movie started to open up his nachos and start like the crinkling and the noise making. Couldn't get that shit ready, you know? And then I went and saw The Housemaid, which I didn't enjoy. It's not a poorly made movie. It's just not good. And these guys 5 or 6 seats away were like audibly, verbally responding to almost every moment. And I felt like I kept on giving them this evil eye stare down. But then I think to myself, even though they're like in their 60s, these guys they could be like 2 adults with developmental disabilities. You just never know. I'm not gonna like tell somebody to shut the fuck up at a theater, like doing that kind of stuff. But if you have your phone out, I will tell you to put your phone away. I will be that guy. Anna Camp did the pitch and True Blood, which don't care. Some TV show about vampires. I could see myself directing a horror movie with Fede Alvarez writing the script. The Newly Deads would be the title. Dang, dude. Here's what I would do, Prince. If you were ever able to make a movie, I would be like, dude, Fede, can you just do both? And then can we just put my name on it because I came up with the idea? I don't want to do the hard job of directing. I mean, Fede's great. Like, I love what Fede does. And even his Alien movie was good. It didn't like blow the lid off for me or anything like that, but it wasn't bad like some of the other Alien movies. Let's see what else we got going on here. Carrie Craves Cinema jumping on in says, my expectation for Scream 7 is I just want to have a good time. I just want to be entertained. Ghostface fucking some shit up? Count me in. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Carrie. I just want it to be a blast, you know? And I just want to jump in on the roller coaster ride and, you know, sit back and enjoy the whole damn thing. So I'm going to check it out 6 p.m. Arizona time, which is Mountain Standard right now, in IMAX, packed audience. And then I'm going to come home and do a live right after. So live Thursday night, super late, we're going to do a spoiler stream. So anyone that's able to catch it on one of the earlier showings, or if you're on the East Coast and you're able to see it at any point on Thursday night, I'm going to be Thursday the 26th, very, very late night. We'll be jumping in and talking all the spoilers. So how about that? Crying baby, greater than having the dogs out. Oh, for sure. Yeah. But neither one is acceptable. Yeah, full Del Griffith. Yeah. The way people are in theaters is amazing. I don't do feet, so no. Yeah, I just think it's like, dude, it's not your living room, so keep your shoes on. And, you know, it's like they used to tell you in grade school, right? Kids try to take their shoes off in grade school, and they're like, what if there's an emergency? What if there's a fire alarm? What if you have to run out into the outside? Keep your shoes on. And same thing goes for being in a theater, dude. What if there's a fire? What if, God forbid, something even worse happens and you need to run your ass to that exit door as soon as possible? You'll be slipping around on your socks and in my way and with your noisy ass nachos. Come on, bro. Come on. All right, guys, we're going to start wrapping stuff up. It's about 2 hours. So let me just make sure I'm grabbing a couple of these since there's still so many chats. But, you know, got to cut it off at some point. Got to save some for next time, right, guys? Shout out to Happy Sanjo, who's celebrating 15 months of channel membership. Tia Nina is celebrating 3 months of channel membership. Thank you so much, Tia. Josh McKenna dropped a $9.99er asking about Scream from 1981. He says it's really terrible. Maybe I should watch it right after the stream tonight. I don't know. Maybe I should. Josh, thank you so much for the $9.99, bud. Really do appreciate you. And Antonis Andriotis dropped a $5 super chat, basically asking me how I think Tatum's kill from Scream 1996 was pulled off. So yeah, I think it was just a really good dummy, Antonis. Thank you so much again for the $5. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything too crazy. Ben says, dude, I went to a midnight screening of Godzilla, and this dude down the row from me took off his shoes, no socks, put them up in the recliner seat, stunk up the place where I had to cover. Oh no. Cover your face with your shirt the whole movie? No, that's bad. Dude, I sat next to, and you know, there's just a bigger problem. Try not to be a judgmental prick, but it's like when you go out in public and you are an adult, regardless of what's going on upstairs, it would be best to look like you belong in society when you go out into society. That's it. You know, keeping your shoes and socks on, that's part of it. I mean, I saw, what was it? Like I was going to see, it was like Fantastic Four, something like that. It was some movie in the summer and they were doing the Revenge of the Sith anniversary. So maybe it wasn't Fantastic Four. It must've been like in May. And these guys, these grown men, they're probably in their late 20s, early 30s, and they're wearing like all this Marvel gear and they're going to see a Star Wars movie. This guy is like Mjolnir and some other, they a whole bunch of comic book character stuff on, but they're going to see the Star Wars anniversary movie. And I'm just like, can't we just wear normal clothes to the theater? Can we, no more onesies, no more blankets? I know I sound like a fuddy-duddy. This is probably not what I need to be talking about at the end of the stream because I feel like such a jerk sometimes, but also I'm like, dude, everyone else paid money to go there. No one needs to smell your feet or your body. When I saw Fantastic Four, I sat next to this guy had a seat next to me. So on one side, this guy smelled like he just came from the gym and didn't even change clothes. So it's like he's wearing all this like, you know, workout gear, which people just wear all the time now. So I couldn't tell if he actually worked out or if this guy just hadn't showered in like 3 days. Just, it wasn't that bad. I wasn't, you know, doing this, Ben, but I was like, dude, you smell like gym clothes that have been sitting in a hamper. And then on the other side, I've got like the little kid asking the dad what's going on. And of course they're eating the nachos. So sometimes you go to the movies and you're just like, fuck my fucking life. Like now that I'm an A-list member and I can see 4 a week and it's just $25 a month, I feel a little bit differently about it in a couple ways. On the one hand, I'm like, oh, I don't need to be that upset. Like I, you know, pay $25 a month for as many movies as I want to see every month, pretty much. But then on the other hand, I'm like, I'm giving them $25 a month guaranteed. Even if I don't show up, I'm still driving my ass to the theater and back, which in the Phoenix area is about an hour round trip. And I'm an A-list member. So maybe I should go bitch to somebody about this, but I never do. I just bitch to you guys. It's great. I really liked Housemaid. It was balls to the wall crazy and I loved it. It definitely, like, it had, for me, Carrie, it just went on a little too long. Like once they basically brought you to the point where they're like, this is what's actually happening, I was like, okay, I didn't need another like 35 minutes. At that point, I was like, all right, let's go. Let's wrap this up. But I do think Housemaid is a little more geared towards like a feminine audience. And I think that's totally fine. I think some movies are going to be that way. They're going to lean towards this group or that group, and whether that's gender or any other qualifying factors, like we're going to see that in movies, and that's a-okay. And plenty of eye candy for you know, dudes that want to look at Sidney Sweeney or girls that want to look at Sidney Sweeney. But what's his face as well? What's his name? Brandon Sklenar. That guy. He was in Drop as well. He's a hunk of burning love now, isn't he? I think he should play the next Logan because he looks really good in jeans and a white tank top. Or if you were raised in the 80s, you call that a wife beater. Don't love the term. Can't really separate myself from it though. All right, guys, let's see what we got going on here. Watching Scream 7 on Thursday night too, but in Dolby Cinema. No more available seats during that showtime. It's hella packed. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm going. The earliest time I can go is Thursday, and it's at the IMAX. And then there's a Dolby theater at another theater that's just like 10 minutes further down the road, T. So I'll probably go see it in Dolby. Like, I want to see it in IMAX and Dolby for sure, because I prefer Dolby, but IMAX is what's available that for the fan event for me. 84 on Tubi. Cool. I will watch that, Tia. Maybe we can watch it together in the Discord and laugh at it. I guess maybe I need to check it out. Is it Showtime or HBO? I can't even remember. Yeah, just some common courtesy. Awareness of others, awareness of self, awareness of the situation. It's very difficult to have all three. You probably can't have all three all the time, but you can try. Like, all you have to do as a grown adult is ask yourself, is this my living room? If the answer is no, you just keep all the clothes on. Like, take your jacket off, you could do that. Have a good one, Prince. Take care. Princey Doo. There you go. Yeah, it was in like May, right? Yeah. All right, let's see what we got here. Holy cow, Sean drops a $5 Canadian super chat and says, thanks for the Changeling recommendation. It was amazing. That is a brutal and dark story. It keeps cranking up the tension. Yeah, man. The Changeling, if you're into haunted house movies, slow burn kind of horror, brooding kind of stories, yeah, The Changeling's really good. George C. Scott is, man, just such a gripping performer. And the mystery's really cool. Also, like, if you liked, What Lies Beneath, stuff like that, like, you would love The Changeling. House of the Devil, The Innkeepers, like, so, that kind of stuff. Go back, check out The Changeling from 1980. Really good stuff. I am so pumped that you liked it, Sean, and thank you so very much for the $5, man. Really do appreciate you. The original Fright Night is very much a precursor to the whole Scream franchise, where you have the main protagonists finding themselves in a real-life horror movie. Yeah, Fright Night did a really good job of that, of integrating, real world, supernatural movie mythology, but actually pouring over into the real world. That's a very good point, Slasher Fred. Thanks for joining us, man. Appreciate you. Unk Night with the Davey. I'm becoming an Unk myself, to be honest. Yeah, I don't even know. So Unk is just like, if you're in your 20s and you are around teenagers, they're probably calling you Unk, huh? That's how bad the nuance has gotten too, is people would call anyone that's older than them boomer, but baby, like, it means baby boomer, and baby boomers are people that are born in a very specific time in history. But I guess the definition of words just doesn't mean anything in our, current landscape. That's about how political I'll get here, folks. Putting on my best perfume on and showering literally right before going to and that's the thing too, is I go to I like going to the movies alone. I'll go with my brother, but I'll go to like a double feature alone. Like, I don't care. Honestly, like, going with a date, it can be fun. Like, it can certainly be fun. It is nice though to not have to worry about like checking in with somebody or touching someone or holding their hand. Like, I like to go to the movie and I'm just like, want to watch the movie. Am I wrong for that? I don't know. But yeah, I doll myself up. Carrie, you gotta doll yourself up. I take myself out. Treat yourself. You know what I mean? Yeah. I put on my Dolce & Gabbana light blue. Of course I do. You never know. Maybe you're gonna bump into somebody that could be a new friend at the theater, and you don't want to smell like shit, when you meet a new friend. Whether or not they come with benefits, you still want to smell good. That's why I like going to daytime shows instead of night. Yeah, Ben, that's what I do. I've got a job with some flexible hours, so sometimes I'll go, last week we did 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. for our double feature. So not the whole time during the day, but, yeah. Hot and crazy. See, women, it's not just you that get to be hot and crazy. Occasionally a guy gets to be hot and crazy too. You can't corner the market on hot and crazy. What are you, crazy? Well, maybe you are. Yeah, she's really good in it. She has the biggest, her arc is the best arc. Yeah. Let's see here. What else do we got going on here? Ooh, it is if you like What Lies Beneath, The Changeling, George C. Scott. Oh yeah. Stephen King said the red ball bouncing down the stairs was the scariest thing he's ever seen in a movie. That's a very Stephen King thing to say, but it is very unsettling. And it's the reason why I say What Lies Beneath is there is a story of a spirit trying to find justice for what happened when it was a living person. And I really I didn't even know that I liked that as a construct, Carrie. But I've realized, like, as I've like expanded, like, and I've been a horror fan since I was like 10 years old, actually before, because I was into like Jaws and all that stuff by the time I was like 5. So Jaws, and then I probably watched Halloween 2, that was my first like slasher experience, probably like 89, 90, and like Child's Play, I was like finding out about that around the same time. But I, you know, still trying to expand, watch movies I've never seen before, all that kind of stuff. And when I saw The Changeling like 5 or 6 years ago or whatever it was, maybe it was a little bit longer than that, right around there, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, I was like, oh my God, it made me realize I love these movies like Innkeepers, What Lies Beneath, this spirit that's looking for justice. Oh, I love that. I love that shit in a haunted house movie. The Changeling. Got to check it out. It is a slow burn. Totally worth it, though. We got Gaz Hearsome in the house, says, would Vin Wompstomp be a good pick for the next Nightmare on Elm Street, Davey? I think Vin could do anything. I would entrust Vin with any horror franchise that he is passionate about, or that he's given any extended thoughts to. So yeah, I mean, I think Vin could handle any of them. I mean, I would like to see him with Friday the 13th, because it would just be a really cool full circle moment for him. And I think it would be the best fit, right? Obviously. And then, you know, I'd like to see Cecil be able to do a legit, you know, a nightmare, an original nightmare story that's not a fan film, you know, that's like actually backed. So if I were picking somebody for Nightmare on Elm Street, I'd have to roll with my guy Cecil. And then, but I think Vin could, yeah, absolutely. I'd like to see, you know, whatever Vin wants to do, Vin can do. Maybe there's a little bit of that. And I'm not saying that I don't do stupid and or annoying shit. I know I do. I just try not to do it in public. I try to keep it out of the public's eye. People in their 40s are UNC status and over 50 is OG status. Okay. I just thought, so this is all comes from people calling Shannon Sharp UNC. Is that where it comes from? Because he's been called UNC for a really, like, before I heard it used for just anybody, I've heard it used for him for a long time. But maybe it's just a thing that's gone from, I don't know. Is it a black culture thing that's finally, you know, getting to mainstream pop culture? I don't know. I'm kind of in it. Like I just said, I'm kind of stupid. I just try to hide it from the public. So here you go. Openly stupid moment right there. Yeah, I had an experience where I was, you know, going to the movies with somebody, and I did appreciate, you know, human touch is nice. Yeah, I like it. But when I'm like focusing on stuff, I don't want like, I don't need that being thrown in the equation. When I'm like watching a movie at the theater, I kind of think of it as work to a degree. I still absolutely adore it and love every second of it, but I take it relatively seriously. Something like that, Tia. A healthy, fair arrangement. You know what I mean? Where both people are happy with what they get and feelings don't get hurt. Okay, guys, I really do got to wrap it up. You all are amazing, though. You guys, like, if I just kept on going, I know you guys would keep on asking questions. And I love that about you all and what you guys bring to this community. What we're going to do, I guess, maybe the next one, fan wish list and hot takes, maybe we can do that after the movie comes out. We can do a wish list for what we want to see in the next movie and hot takes post Scream 7. Why did I say Scream 5? But yeah, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Once again, you guys just kind of carrying the stream and me just sort of being here to facilitate it, which I love. It's great to see Carrie jumping back in too. I know, Carrie, I saw you bouncing around. You were co-streaming with somebody. Were you on Flet's channel? Is that where I saw you? Or was it somewhere else? But it's cool to see you jumping back in, Carrie. Thank you so much. So the Changeling with Angelina Jolie is a totally different story. They just use the same name. I think the Changeling with Angelina Jolie is like a World War II swapped at birth or swapped at adoption kind of story. I've never seen it, but that's the vibe I get. I don't want to say anything else about the other Changeling with George C. Scott, but I think the Angelina Jolie one is not related. It's a great name for a movie, though. Yeah, good stuff. It is good stuff. Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, I've never seen it, so I didn't want to say too much about it. But yes, it is called The Changeling. Yeah. Twisting the Knife tomorrow. Ooh, what's that? What is that? Twisting the Knife? Is it a music video or something like that? I wonder if it's a music video. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. As Eli says, don't forget to slash that like button on the way out. Make sure you're subscribed if you haven't done that already. Hit the notification bell. Check the notification bell. Make sure you want it actually set. But check it out because you can set it to all, none, or like custom or whatever. And you know, if you don't have it on all, you might miss a live. You might miss when I drop a video, all that kind of stuff. So just, you know, if you dig the channel, you dig what we do here, make sure all that stuff is in order. If you're watching after the fact, you are a fucking rock star. Thank you so very much. Hit that like button. Think about hyping the video. Maybe you want to get a little bit of the Scream juice out there. And that sounds a lot dirtier than it is. It's actually very, very clean and very, very sweet. But yeah, anything that you guys have to say about, you know, Scream as a franchise, how you feel about the strengths, weaknesses, what kind of opportunities they have, you know, going forward with Scream 7 and possibly beyond. You know, are we going to see a reinvention of the approach to Ghostface or just like a refinement? You know, what are we going to do with the legacy characters other than Sidney? Which characters live? Which characters die? All that stuff. Let me know what you got in the comments. I appreciate it so very much. You guys have been an amazing, amazing group tonight in the chat. Thank you so very much for showing up, showing out, squeezing all the juice and wheezing all the Scream juice. Stop wheezing the juice. Love the Encino Man reference there, Jamie. Yeah, you guys have been absolutely incredible. And we're going to keep this rolling. So Friday night, I'll be over at Killjoy Jake's 7 p.m. Eastern. And then I'm going to come on over here at about 9 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to do a live audience tier maker ranking of all of the Ghostface killers up to this point. It'll be such a blast hanging out with you guys again tomorrow night. Link is pinned in the chat, I think, which should be like right there. You know, I think it should be right about there. Link is pinned in the chat for the Real Horror Awards over on Good Real Hunting. Make sure you guys check out the show. Even if you can't watch the whole thing, awards shows are long. Drop in there, hit the like button, say a little something, hang out for a little bit. You'll see my ugly mug. You're going to see Jamie. Miss Jamie Hart is going to be involved. And I would imagine some other folks that have popped in and out of the chat here. So that's going to wrap it up for this one. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for chatting some Scream with me. Here in a couple weeks, it's just going to be so sad. All we're going to have to do is talk about Scream 7 and go through every little detail. What makes sense? What doesn't? What we liked? What we didn't like? Did the killer reveal make sense? Is there a cliffhanger? What's going to happen with Sidney in the next chapter? That's all we'll have to talk about once the movie finally comes out. It's going to be sad. It's going to be sad. There's not going to be much. It's just going to be all of those things and probably more. So what can you do? But that is going to wrap it up for this show, guys. You are absolutely amazing. I love each and every single one of you. Don't forget that. You guys rock my socks. The Patreon members, the channel members, the Death Squad mods, and the noobs that just showed up. You guys are all amazing. You guys make this community keep on going. Share the channel with someone who you think would dig this kind of content. Let's keep this community growing. I think that's all I got for you guys. So until next time, I've been and will continue being Mustachio Davey Deathray. Take care.